already very early here. Okay.
All right, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if some of us that joined yesterday also joined us today. Yeah.
Mhm.
But like Comfort said, the rules remain the same. Please adhere to the rules. If you're gonna turn on your camera, make sure you are
Mhm.
well dressed. I mean, I don't mind if you turn on your video, but make sure you are well dressed. Please
Okay.
let's keep it very sane and decent in the chat box. And
Yeah.
again, please, while uh, the speaker is teaching, don't write on the board. Someone did that yesterday. Please, let's
Oh,
respect ourselves. This is a public space,
it's
and
right.
everything we are doing, we are live streaming on YouTube. People are gonna see it. So please, let's make everything look decent, and we'll enjoy ourselves. All right, so I'm gonna quickly introduce Comfort. Yeah, Comfort is also humble like Rachel, so she just sent me a very short one. So I'm gonna read that one out so that every one of us can get used to her. So her name is Comfort Chukwere, and she's a second year PhD student in agricultural and environmental chemistry at the University of California, Davis. So while she's gonna be talking about her session, you're also free to ask about her research interests, if it's something that excites you. All right, so I'm gonna just leave the floor to Comfort at this point in time. And please, Comfort, you can take it away.
Okay. So can you stop sharing your screen so I can share mine?
What did that? Yeah.
Okay. Um, where's the stop? Okay. Sorry. So okay, please speed up this. Okay. Hi everyone. So today we'll be talking about crafting scholarship worthy essays. And I'll try my best to touch every part of the different types of essays we have, but I will focus more on SOP because I think that's like the fundamental one that most schools ask for. So I'll try my best to touch other ones just so you have an idea of what it is like. But if you have your SOP, you can easily just tweak it to suit whatever essay you're trying to write. So, oh, why is my it's kind of okay, and this is about to get messy. Okay. Okay, so introduction. Sorry, I just have to, because I can't even see my screen clearly. Okay. Yeah, so introduction to essays. So essays are written documents that are part of your application package. I think almost everyone knows that. And the essence of you writing an essay is to be able to sell or market yourself to the admission committee uniquely. You're not trying to market yourself the way another person is marketing his or herself. You're trying to do it uniquely in a way that portrays the real you to the admission committee. Now, writing like CVs may not really be able to help you do that effectively. So that's why they have like an essay part of it where in your own words you like sell yourself like in the best way possible to the admission committee because the decisions they are likely not going to talk to you. Not all scholarship application requires you to do an interview, so they may likely not have like a one-on-one conversation with you. So you try as much as you can that in your essay you're selling yourself in the best way possible. Now, like I said initially, we have different kind of essays. We have SOP, personal statements, letter of intent, motivation letter, diversity statements, whatever your school calls it. Some school just say it's a letter showcasing your career goals and objectives, whatever tag your school gives to it. The most important thing is knowing what the prompt says, what's the prompt saying. Most schools have like prompts, okay, write a statement of purpose. This should include your research objectives and why you think this program is suitable for you. Most schools give such prompts. Some schools just tell you write an SOP. Some just say write a motivation letter. Some people just say write a diversity statement. So whatever the case is, I'll try as much as possible to walk you through it. But like I said previously, we're going to be focusing more on SOP because I feel that's like the foundation, because SOP sort of has most, if not up to 90% of everything that's applicable to other essays. So differences between SOP and personal statements. For me, I feel like the major difference between SOP and personal statements is that one is focused, someone is writing again. Can you stop writing? So, what was I trying to say?
So can you stop sharing and share again?
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is that once I catch the person again, I'm
It's
gonna kick the
TK.
person out.
Somebody TK.
We're not, I mean, that's
Yeah.
indiscipline. We just mentioned it right now. I'm gonna kick the person out. What's the name of the person again?
TK.
Yeah, TK. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the name I saw.
I would not I'll send the person out. No.
Oh,
We can't allow
no,
that on this space. No.
I have to figure out how to. Oh, no.
Is it Mr. TK? Am I correct?
I can't remember. I know I just saw TK. Still, I don't know if there was a Mr. attached to it. Okay, so I'm sorry for like the interruption. I have to just get everything back to how it was. Okay, so back to what we were discussing. I'm like, okay, we have like, oh, yeah, we have a difference between SOP and personal statement. So SOP is more focused on, it's more professional, it's more formal, it's focused on your academic strengths, your research interests, your extracurricular activities, your career goals, and how all these tie into the program you are applying to. It really has little personal details, right? But when you come to personal statements, that's why it's personal. It's sort of in between semi-formal to formal, not completely informal, but it's in between semi-formal to formal, but it focuses more on the personal motivation. What's like your experience? What's your background? You start talking about how you were raised up, how that ties into why you're applying for this program, what has personally motivated you. Why for SOP, it's more research oriented that you're coming from like the research, right? Sorry, research point of view. So those are like the two differences between SOP and personal statements. But like I said, if you have your SOP drafted, it's easy for you to tweak it into your personal statements and any other type of essay you're trying to write. Now go to motivation letter and letter of intent. So for me, I think I'll talk about letter of intent. Letter of intent is similar to SOP. I think the only difference is for me, because I've written a letter of intent before, is that it has to have like a letterhead, like when you write your normal formal letter, you have to be addressing it to somebody. I think that's why it is called a letter. So you're writing it in a letter format, but it also has similar um, constituents or characteristics as SOP has. Why for motivation letter, it's more formal than personal statement. It's also showcasing what your personal motivation and aspirations are, and your passion. You're talking about your passion. Why are you passionate about this field? Why are you passionate about this course you want to go for? So I think motivation letter is more common with Erasmus scholarship. That's where you see motivation letter. So if you have an SOP already written, maybe for like Canada or USC, you could easily tweak it to suit what the motivation letter should look like. And also, they'll likely give you prompts, what they want to see, and that will help you like tailor it more. So I don't want to like spend much time on the differences, and that's why I'm just going through it fast, because we need to go into the main agenda for the day, which is teaching you how to write. So now let's go to pre-writing questions. So before you decide to say, I want to write an essay. What are the questions you ask yourself? Now, the first thing is that's why we had to teach you how to write your CV, how to search for schools, probably how to search for supervisors, and I don't know, yeah, how to email professors, right? So the most important thing is you figured out already what school am I applying to. You know what program you're applying to, right? You also already know like supervisors you or professors you like to work with when you get to that school. Now, the first thing is what is my academic background and how does this fit into the program? Because that is very important. Yeah, you would not have a background in music and you're applying to a program in chemistry, you will struggle. So whatever program you're trying to like apply to, you have to ask yourself these questions. The answers to these questions will enable you know if to go further to continue applying to like to that school, or if to like take a break and think about it, or if you have to start figuring out how to like put your story together to make sure there's a fit into that program. So what is your academic background? And as I'm talking, I want us to like personally be reflecting on these questions. If you have a pen, you can be penning down things because we're going into like writing SOP soon. And these questions are what we'll be referring back to. So the second thing is, what is my research interest or what are my research interests? What am I really interested in? Especially for people who are going for graduate programs, you need to have a research interest because like, I think I overheard Rachel saying yesterday, most programs that are funded that comes with scholarship for graduate students are usually research focused programs. So you need to have an idea about what your research is about, like what exactly are you interested in. Then you've already figured out professors in that school because you likely had sent them emails previously, prior to you now officially applying, right? So you're now looking at how does my research interest tie into professors in this school? It's it's I think it's not right for you to apply to a school that you can't find a match between what your research interest is and any professor in the department. I bet you I'm 100% sure your application will be denied because what's the point of you coming to my school when we don't have professors that are doing something you're interested in? So you need to know what your research interest is, and you need to be sure there are professors in that school that are doing something similar. It may not be exact, but similar to it. And you need to figure out how you can tie your research interest to what the professor is doing. Now, you now go to your research experience. What research experience do I have? Do I have any research experience, undergraduate research experience, paper writing, whatever it is? Like, what research experience do I have? And how do I connect it to my research interest and to the research interest of the professor? So you see how we are building off of things, right? So you need a research interest, your research experience, and you also need to know how this connects to the professor. Now, when you're done with that, another thing you think about is what other experience do I have that I can use to improve my profile? I think I overheard one of the speakers saying yesterday that yeah, your CGPA is cool, your experience is cool, but you also need other things, other flesh, like other things to add flesh to your profile to make you stand out because you're competing with people from all over the world. You're not just competing with people from your country, your local country, you're competing with people from all over the world and you're trying to like attract the best like candidates to your program. So you have to be thinking about what other things can I add to my profile for my profile to stand out. And that's why you see some people have first class and they don't even get accepted because maybe probably they were thinking, oh, I have a first class, and that's it. That's the only thing attached to them. I'm not saying having a first class is bad. In fact, that gives you like an edge, but you also need other things, to attach to this your first class to make it more unique or more sellable. And that's why you see some people have first class and that person is having a tutu. and you're seeing them picking someone with a tutu over someone with first class. Yes, because the only thing the first class person keeps screaming in his or her essays, I have a first class, I have a first class. I was the best graduate. Nothing else. The person who has a tutu took his time to like really show, even if their grades were not really that good, they had other flesh that helped them like sell themselves better to the admission committee. And for people coming to graduate school, especially people interested in coming to North America, your grades are important, but I bet you your survival in graduate school is not just dependent on how intelligent academically you are. You need other skills to survive here. You need like writing skills, you need like social skills, networking skills. You need a lot of skills, right? So these are things they look out for. You need to know how to teach, because most people, your scholarships or your funding comes from teaching assistantships. So these are things the admission committee look out for. They also need somebody who has leadership skills as well. So there are a lot of things they look out for, and it's not just CGPA. It's not just how good your grades are. You're on a perfect score. Yeah, good and fine. What other thing can you contribute? Now, another thing you question and ask yourself is, this department I'm applying to, what actually stands out for me? And you know this by really studying the website or the department's website or university website, whatever it is. You know you can answer this question by studying this website. So you know what exactly, why are you applying to this department? Do you need to know why you are applying? Why this department? There are many departments in the world, right? There are many universities in the world. What stands out for you? And for some persons, for some essays I've read, they're like, oh, I'm applying to this department because they have like an internship component attached to it. And because my goal is I'm tilting towards the industry after graduation, I feel that this is going to give me an edge. So people have different reasons why they choose a particular program, a particular department. So you need to know why, because you need to add this to your essay. Now, and the last question, or second to the last, is how does my career goal fit into all of the above? You need to know what your career goes. So after the master's, what's next? Are you applying for a PhD? Are you going straight into the industry? What are the positions you are looking forward to applying to in the industry? After your PhD, what next? Are you tilting towards becoming a postdoc? Are you tilting towards going to the industry? So you need to have an idea. Yeah. Another thing I need to point out, whatever you write in your SOP, nobody is not fixed that you say you cannot change it. But at that time when you're writing this essay, they need to know what your career goals is like. They need to know, okay, this person, if we give this person a chance, does this person has an already outlined path the person is chasing, or is this person just applying randomly to our program? So all these things help them gauge if you are really suitable for your program. Now, when you have all these questions answered, you're now thinking about summary. Your introductory and your concluding paragraph will focus on summary. How do I summarize all these questions or the answers to these questions to have the best introductory paragraph and have the best concluding paragraph? So you really need to ask this question. You don't just like pick a pen and start writing SOP. You need a structure. You need answers to these questions, right? So when you have answers to these questions, it helps you like organize your thoughts, organize your writing. So you're not writing, right? You're not writing A, and the next thing you jump to Z, and you come back and come to M. So take time to think about these questions and like find answers to them. So that being said, I'll be jumping into like sections of an SOP. Because of time, I would not be able to like teach you how to write personal statement, diversity statement, letter of intent, and all of that. I wouldn't teach you that. So I'll just focus on teaching you how to write an SOP and what you should be looking out for, because I feel if you are able to write an SOP correctly, a very good one or an excellent SOP, you'll be able to tweak it to other essays as they come. So if I am to say, or the pattern I've been using to write SOP and what I've been teaching people who walk up to me, I want to write an SOP, is having 6 paragraphs. Restrict your SOP to 6 paragraphs. Oh, I think I made a mistake. I didn't outline what these paragraphs are, like sequentially. So we look at all of them before going into sections, like showing them. So, but I'll just run through with them, come back. So the first paragraph, which is your introductory paragraph, is your problem statement. Connect it to why you want to study the course. So you can't write this introductory paragraph if you don't have idea of those questions we asked, right? You need to know what your research interest is. You need to know what the professors in your school, what are their research interests. You need to know why you are applying to this program, what you earn, what your long-term goal is, all those bunch of questions that I listed previously, because your introductory paragraph is the catch. If you get it wrong, it's gone. So someone reading your introductory paragraph should be able to like say, this is what this person is interested in. Just reading it, the person already knows, oh, this is this person's research interest. This is this person's like goal, you know. Then the next one, I'll come back to it. So we'll talk about it. I just want to run through it because I think I omitted that. I was supposed to like list them out so you see them before we start talking on each of them. So the second one is now where you talk about your educational background, you talk about your academic experiences, you talk about your research experiences, and you talk about how this has prepared you for the course you are applying for, the program you're applying for. Now, paragraph 3, you now talk about the extras, you know, leadership, volunteering, teaching. Oh, I missed out writing teaching here, but leadership, volunteering, teaching, other extracurricular activities that you feel is going to boost your profile. Now, this is you letting them know who you are. So if you observe the trend is I am letting you know who I am first, right? I've introduced you to like giving like an introductory like paragraph to everything you're going to see in this essay. And the second paragraph is focused on my academic background, very important, and my research experiences. Now, or your undergraduate research experiences, I move forward to like currently, what am I doing? I'm talking about my leadership, my volunteering, and my extracurricular activities. Now, paragraph 4, this is where you now focus on your research interests. You're writing it out. You're saying, okay, this is my research interest. This is what the professors in this university are doing, and linking them together and saying, oh, I have a research interest. Your professors have this research interest, and I'm able to link them together. And I think I'm a perfect fit for them. Now, paragraph 5, that's where you're talking about the university and the department, and you know, like telling them why you choose the department, why you choose the university, what do you stand to gain, what do you stand to contribute, right? Then, paragraph 6, which is your concluding paragraph, you're talking about your career goals, both long-term and short-term, like career goals, and you're wrapping it up. Now, I'll go back to the first. One thing I need to let you know is I would say do not plagiarize what you see in here. This is just a sample. This is not like the best of it. I'm not even sure is that good enough. I was just trying to like come up with stuff to just sort of like show you what is expected, right? So don't now think that you just copy what is here and you change stuffs and you just apply. You know, I've seen people do that a lot where they just find a random SOP online or a random essay online and they just change their name and change one or twos, you know, and they just turn it in. No, it has to be unique. It has to be tailored to you. So I'm just using this for like teaching purposes. It's not like the best of it. It's not perfect. There are a lot of errors that I'm already spotting as I'm even looking at it. But we'll talk about that as we go on. Now, so the introductory paragraph, I think we should, okay, let's just go through it that way. So like I said, you need to already know what you want to do. You need to know what your research interest is. You need to know what the professor's research interest is. Now, you come to your introductory paragraph. What you're trying to do in your introductory paragraph is to give an introductory paragraph that tells them what your research interest is, especially for people applying to research focused programs. I see a lot of essays where people write, oh, I grew up as a child. In fact, recently I was part of like a team that was reviewing essays for people, and somebody wrote 2 paragraphs that I felt was supposed to be the introductory paragraph, and she was trying to tell them why she wants to study mechanical engineering. And she started off with a story that was so funny. I laughed out my ass. And she was like, oh, I want to study mechanical engineering because when I was growing up, we were watching World Cup and lights went off and blah, 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 blah. And that struck me. I was like, what the hell are you saying? You're applying to a PhD, my friend. This shouldn't be here. You should be talking as an expert. You should be using yeah, you should try as much as possible not to use like jargons all through, but you should be talking like an expert that when somebody reads your essay, the person knows this person knows what she's doing, this person knows what he's doing, he knows why he's applying to this program, right? So now I'll just run through this essay. So the essay I'm trying to use, the person's like research interest is environmental contaminants, and the person has done justice to like figure out what his research interest is. He knows what the supervisors in that school is working on or are working on. So the person started with environmental contaminants is a person's research interest. Keep that at the back of your mind. Now, the person said, oh, persistent and emerging organic pollutants are toxic chemicals which have become of global concern due to their underlying threats to the system, to the ecosystem. Organic contaminants have entered the environment at increasing levels as harmful and known, blah, 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 via agriculture and industrial sources. Now, the person is opening the statement with contaminants. It's telling you contaminants, and the person is so direct. And probably the person is using organic pollutants because the person's research interest is specifically organic pollutants. And probably the person has also checked the professors working in the program, and he knows which of these professors are interested in organic pollutants, right? What organic pollutants are they interested in? Are they interested in industrial pollutants or agricultural pollutants? And the person is trying to like bring everybody, tie the 2 or 3 different professors is interested in working with, is tying it together to make a very strong introductory statement. Now, the person went ahead to say, okay, I've stated my problem statements. This is the problem. Now, hence, there's an urgent need to evaluate environmental contaminants, blah, 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 why discover, blah, blah, blah. The person went on to say, I am passionate about researching on the bioaccumulation of emerging contaminants and developing technologies for their biodegradation. To this end, I am applying for a master's program. Now, any professor who picks this up knows this person is serious. The person knows this person already knows why he's applying. It's not just randomly applying. The person is not cooking up stories, right? The person is research focused. And the person has dropped that as an introductory paragraph. So you know I'm serious here. I'm not here to play. I'm not here to tell you what happened when I was a child. Now, not to say people who write essays and they use personal experiences to say, oh, when I was a child. I know I've read some essays that were so cool who used personal stories to like make their problem statement to say, okay, I grew up and I had a mom who was diabetic or had cancer and this. But at the end, they still tie it to what is happening globally or what is happening in the location they're applying to say, okay, my mom experienced this, and also cancer is like a rapidly increasing like disease that affects maybe Black Americans or African Americans or Black people or women in general, right? Whatever the case is. But the point is, even if they are using personal stories, they are still tying it to a problem statement, a well-known or well-defined problem statement, and not just focusing on their personal stories. That's why I talked about the person who was saying, oh, because World Cup, me and my family were watching World Cup and NEPA took lights. That's why I want to apply for electrical, be mechanical in one of them. That's why I'm applying to the electrical mechanical engineering. That's why that person's essay didn't really stand out, because the person just focused on personal stories. Your personal story is valid, but that's the difference between an SOP and personal statement. If that person was writing those sort of stuff for personal statement, it could sell, it could pass. But when you talk about statement of purpose, it has to be research focused. Why are you applying for this program? What do you want to do in this program? Whatever you're writing, make sure you are selling yourself. And you want to sell yourself as someone who has a very good knowledge of their subject matter. You have a very good knowledge of the field you're applying to. You may not be an expert, but at least you have a foundational knowledge and you're writing your essay with that in mind. So we've talked about the introductory paragraph. So I'll move to the next paragraph, which is talking about your educational background, your research experience, how this has prepared you for the course. Now, this person has just undergraduate degree, like a bachelor's degree. This person doesn't have a master's degree. So for someone who has a master's degree, the person is going to be throwing more lights on the master's degree. You're going to see what you did in bachelor's, you get, or your focus will not be more on your bachelor's, to be more on what you did in your master's, because that's your most current educational background, right? So this person has a bachelor's degree. So the person said, okay, as an environmental enthusiast, I enrolled for a bachelor's degree program in biochemistry. Remember, in the previous paragraph, the person was blabbing all about environmental contaminants, pollutants, this, that. The person is still coming back to the next paragraph where you're supposed to be talking, it's supposed to be talking about educational background, and the person is still reminding you, I am an environmental enthusiast. Now, this is someone who is intentional about the message I am trying to drive home. And remember, the person is applying to an environmental engineering program. The person is focused. I know what I want you to get out. At the end of the day, when you finish reading my letter or my essay, whatever it is, what is that thing you will remember? You remember that, oh, this person is really environmental focused. This person has this, that, you get. So at the end of the day, when someone finishes reading your essay, what does that person take home? So when you're writing, you have that in mind. And at every point in time, you're making sure you re-emphasize that. So the person has that in mind. This person is not just applying randomly. This person is an environmental enthusiast. This person is really interested in environmental contaminants. This person is specifically interested in organic pollutants. Now, let's read through and see what the person has to say. Okay, I enrolled for a bachelor's degree program in biochemistry at blah, 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 Nigeria. Now, during this program, I took some environmental biochemistry and chemistry courses, which exposed me to the concepts of environmental pollutants. Thus, my undergraduate project focused on the remediation of hydrocarbon impacted soil using purple nut sedge. Now, this result suggested that the person went ahead to say what the results of the study was and what the findings, and went ahead to also state that this project has been published. So what do you think the person reading this part of this essay will think? Oh, wow, this person has a biochemistry background. Oh, nice. Oh, but the person also took courses that are related to environmental pollutants, what the person is applying to. Now, if you notice, the person didn't list out all the courses he took. The admission committee have your transcript. You don't need to list everything. Pick out the ones that are applicable. Whatever you're putting in your essay should be tailored towards that program. And that's why you don't use one essay to apply to multiple programs, right? So the person was specific. The person tailored whatever he was writing to that program. So he listed, okay, what courses did I take in school? And the person just picked the most important courses. And he didn't even explicitly state, oh, is maybe, let's say the person did just 100. He didn't write it, I just gave an overview. I've taken environmental. Now it's left for the admission committee. Okay, this person said he has taken environmental, biochemistry, and chemistry courses. Let me go back to this person's profile to see. Let me go back to this person's transcript. What courses did this person really take? You get. Now, the person went ahead to now say a summary of what the undergraduate project focused on. It was not just telling them, the title of my undergraduate project is this. Who cares? What did he focus on? What were the results? at the end of the day, what's like the current status of that project? The person went ahead to say, oh, it has been published. And this has motivated me to exploit the field of environmental contamination. Environmental keeps repeating itself. Pollutants everywhere, you know. Now, the person went ahead to say, okay, my academic excellence, and me started talking about awards he or she had gotten and other details. Now, if you notice, the person only listed CGPA towards the end. That was not the focus. I have a perfect score. I have a good GPA, but that is not the focus. The focus here is I am applying to research program, and I want you to see, be able to gauge what my research expertise is like. Where am I at my research experience? And the person sort of listed that out. And now go to the next, where the person was talking about leadership. So this person didn't have like a leadership experience per se, but this person had research experience, post-graduation research experience. The person had teaching experience, and that was what was relevant at that point, and that was what the person used. So you don't necessarily have to have everything, but whatever you have. And another thing you need to know is this person was like had just like a bachelor's degree, and this person just left school like a year or two. I'm just trying to paint a scenario. So I don't know who is in that like at that level currently, but I'm just painting a scenario. For someone who had stayed out of school for a longer time, that person will probably have had more experience. That person will probably have had more volunteering leadership experience, teaching experience, work experience that is related to research. Now, fortunately for this person, the person's work experience is related to research. So the person went ahead to say, okay, my last paragraph, I was telling you about what happened in my undergrad, what I did in my undergrad, the courses I took, my projects. I was telling you about my CGPA, even though that wasn't like the focus. Now, upon graduation, what did I do next? I started working in a research lab, and it also focused in environmental contamination. Environmental in each paragraph. And the person went ahead to talk about the research projects he has worked on, and he also explained what the outcome of the project was. I think the person listed about 3 projects here. Now, if you come to here, the person now said, in addition to my research assistant position, I served as a teaching assistant where my duties involve teaching laboratory experiments, blah, blah, blah. While on this position, I've been able to mentor and guide over 15, blah, blah, blah. The person went ahead to start talking about the skills. Oh, I am undergoing training in R programming for statistical analysis, blah, 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 blah. What has this person been able to say? I have good undergraduate research experience, so my undergraduate research paper has been published now, but I didn't just stop at that. I went further after graduation. This is what I am currently doing. Now, in addition to my research experience, I also have teaching experience. So I have done this one, I have done this one. Even went ahead to like quantify how many students he has taught, and mentorship, the person listed mentorship skills. It was not saying, oh, I have good mentorship skills. No, he was writing it in how do they say, in a passive way, that I am telling you something, but I am not making it clear. Like I'm not saying it whole-hearted. I think that's the way they say it in Nigeria. I'm not making you whole-hearted. This is what I'm saying, but you get the point. The person gets the point. Now, the person went ahead to also state skills. Oh, what skills do I think is important in this program? Oh, they need me to know how to use R. The person threw it in here. This may not be the only skills the person applied in his CV. But when it comes to essay, you're putting in what is relevant to this program. What story am I trying to build? How do I want this person to perceive me? Like this person is not seeing me, but because of what the person has read about me, the person is able to like paint a picture about me in their head. And if possible, the person is able to like recommend me for admission. So that was what the person focused on here. Now the person has finished all the whole experience, blah, blah, blah. Now the person now is going for that research interest. Now, following these research experiences, the experiences I've listed, my undergraduate experiences, my post-graduation experiences, research experiences, the person said, I am enthusiastic about researching on the fate, degradation, and removal of organic contaminants. I am interested in working with number one professor. Due to his research on the fate and bioaccumulation of organic contaminants in drinking water, specifically, I am interested in researching more on the bioaccumulation of novel blah 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 resulting from the under Professor Christopher's supervision. Now, if you see what this person did here, the person first of all laid like a foundation. This is what I am interested in researching on. These are my research interests. Fates, biodegradation, removal of organic contaminants. The first professor was working on the fate and bioaccumulation. If you look at the second professor was working on treatments, which is like the removal, right? I'm trying to see what the third professor was working on. The third professor was also working on treatment. Now, the second professor was working on biodegradation, something around that sort, and the third person was working on treatment. Now, in the person's first sentence, he had already summarized everything these professors are working on, because they said, I'm interested in researching on fate, biodegradation, and removal. So the person has already seen, okay, these three professors, how do I summarize whatever they are doing? And that person summarized it and made it like the first sentence you see in that paragraph. Then the person now went for that to start saying, okay, this is professor I want to work with. This is what this person is working on. And this is how it ties back to my research interest. And anybody reading this thing knows that, this person is not just randomly applying to this program. This person has really done research. The person knows, for the person to be writing it this way, the person knows what this professor is working on. The person knows the research, the exact research, or probably the research area in that person's, the professor's research that in the professor's lab that the person is interested in working on. So this person is being, how will I say it now? I'm trying to look for like is being like very, very direct. The person is not just, this person is a serious person. I'm not here for play. I know what I want. This is what I want. And this is why I think I am like the best candidate. So the person went on to like say all of this stuff, talking, you may not necessarily write it this way, but the point is that you are able to let them know what your research interest is. Let them know the professors you want to work with, and also let them know why you want to work with this professor. I think that's one of the things the person missed out here, like stating why you want. There's the way the person would have like imputed it in here that it will like make more sense. But even at this, it's still fine, it's still good, right? So we finished this part of it. Now the person came to the next paragraph talking about why you're choosing the departments, why you're choosing the program, why you're applying to this university. The person first started off with why they're applying to the department. And you explained, the person said, okay, because they have reputation for interdisciplinary nature research. And the person went ahead to say, the department's affiliation with. So it means there's like a center this department is affiliated with. And the person is able to know it because the person has done research. The person has gone to this website, this departmental website, finding out what is unique about this department. Now, the person talked about the department's like the program's curriculum, saying, okay, it provides you with a coursework program that matches my professional and personal goals. Then the person went for that to talk about the university. The university is a research-intensive university, and the person said it's going to help him become a grounded researcher in environmental contamination. My point is, anybody reading through like this SOP, the person is taking home away the point that first of all, this person is really interested in environmental contamination. And this person is not just randomly applying to our program. The person knows that, we have expertise in this area, in environmental this. The person knows the professor he wants to work with. This person has good research experiences, both in undergrad, post-graduation, you get. Now, in conclusion, the person went ahead to say, a master's in this will provide me with like proficient knowledge of engineering concepts and blah 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 blah. And after that, the person went on to say, okay, after MSc, what's my next plan? The person said, I'm going to be applying to a PhD program. And the person said to explore further the area of emerging contaminants. Now, the person now went ahead to now talk about long-term goal, and the long-term goal is to be an environmental consultant. And the person, to summarize everything, the person stated, oh, I'm a first generation female researcher, and I look forward to this. Now, my point is, if you were the one this essay was given to, would you say this person is well prepared for research or well prepared for a graduate program in environmental whatever it is? Would you say this person really suits like this person is a suitable candidate for our program? If you were the one reading this, are you going to be skeptical? Are you going to be doubting? No, because the person has really done justice. At every paragraph, the person keeps driving home the points. I am interested in environmental contamination. Whatever I have to say has to tie back to environmental contamination. Whatever I have to say has to tie back to pollutants. And that is why it is an SOP. Some people write SOPs that their SOPs look like personal statements. They just keep talking about their personal challenges. Oh, this one happened in my family. This one happened in my family. Oh, I came from a very poor background. Yeah, you came from a very poor background. There are a lot of people who came from poor backgrounds. So what makes you unique, right? So your SOP is focused on how your research, whatever experiences you've had, matches the program, and how this ties into your career goals, how your leadership experience, teaching experience, whatever experiences you have will help you be a better candidate, to make you a more competitive candidate for that program. So they know that, oh, this person is really focused, or this person, an environmental research, anything environmental, this person will kill it because the person has this track record. So you've been able to show track record. You've been able to, and probably your references or your reference letters that will be coming in, recommendation letters, will also touch on these parts as well. Selling you as, oh, this person has interest in research. Oh, don't joke with this person. If you're looking for someone who's going to be good in research, this is who you should like pick. So I know this is not like a popular way to write an SOP, but my argument is you won't get it wrong if you do it this way. I'm very sure about that. You don't get it wrong if you do it this way. You are submitting a tailored this thing. Now, this same person may be applying to a biochemistry program and biochemistry graduate program, and probably that person is interested in the program is nutrition. How do you say it now? Maybe food nutrition in biochemistry or something of that sort. And the person's story will be different. What you'll be seeing that will keep on like reoccurring is, oh, I'm interested in food science, I'm interested in food nutrition, whatever it is. The person may also be applying to microbiology program, and what it just keeps occurring. I'm not really conversing on microbiology, but it could be, oh, bacteria, oh, microbes, oh, communicable diseases. If the person is into health, like is applying to health program. If the person is applying to, let's say the person is applying to cyber security, it's going to be talking about cyber crimes, blah, 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 you know? So whatever you want them to remember, make sure it keeps occurring in every paragraph, and that sticks into their head. And most likely for most programs, before the graduate committee like sort of approves your application, especially for really tilted towards North America, because that's like where I am, and that's probably where I've done a lot of essay reviews for people. I don't think I've done any Erasmus, Chevening, all those ones. I don't think I've really reviewed people's essay on that, so I may not really be able to touch on that. But for SOP, after submitting, like most times after submitting your essays or your applications, the graduate committee reads it, and most times they send it to professors you've mentioned in your essay, oh, I want to work with this professor. Now this professor goes through it. And if they feel, oh, this person really has like a very high research experience, they now recommend you for admission and say, okay, oh, I think I want this person. I will be willing to like accept this person in my lab, and they approve it. Now the point is, imagine your essay. What is field in your essay? I came from Nigeria. We don't have good research facility. That's why I want to come to your country. Your country, you will have everything. You will have everything, you know what? And the person is not seeing, like how do I say this thing? The person is not seeing your how like your potential to do research. That's the word. The person is not seeing your potential to do research. You apply to a research focused program. The person should see your potential. Recently, I was working with someone that was applying for an MBA program, and the person kept on nailing on leadership. I want you to know I have leadership experience. I have business administration experiences, and each paragraph upon paragraph you go through, the person kept on nailing that. So you already know that, oh, this person is business focused. This person has the skills. This person has the experience, you know. The person wasn't really, even though the person had a good GPA. In fact, I think the person was even transferring from, I think was engineering or whatever, to going to do an MBA. But the person was able to establish that, oh, even if I'm switching fields, I have experience in this. These are my experiences. For each paragraph you go through, you could see the trend that, oh, this person is suitable for this program. How do you want them to see you? Do you want them to see you as suitable for this program, or like, you're not sure what exactly this person wants to do? It's not really that clear. We don't know if this person has like, and before you know, they've put you on waiting list or probably even rejected you straight up. And for most schools, for programs receive up to 300 applications, and they just need 10 people, 20 people. So you will just even get cut out in the first round of review first, because like this one, we don't even know what this person is even saying, right? So try as much as you can that you are representing yourself well. Ask yourself the question. That's what I always asked myself when I was writing my essays. If I was to be the one that has sat down, that is going to be reading this essay as part of the admission committee, will I admit myself? Ask yourself that question. Be honest with yourself. Do I think I'm impressed with this? When you're done, send it out to other people. This is the prompt. Sorry. This is the prompt that these people like used. Like, oh, this is the prompt on the department website. This is what I have written. Do you think I stand a chance? Do you think I've answered all the questions? Do you think I've been able to sell myself well? Right? And that will help you. And another pitfall or another extreme is using too many jargons. That somebody that is not an expertise in your field cannot read your essay. No, you use those terms, but you still make it like moderate. Like this person made it moderate. Even if somebody who is not an expert is able to like understand that, okay, well, this person is really interested in environmental contamination. This is how this ties, whatever experiences this person has, ties back into it. Sorry, let me take water. So that's about that. So most people applying, especially people from Nigeria or people from Africa, we apply with the immigrant mindset. We don't apply with like the expatriate mindset. We are not letting them know what we can do, like what experiences we have. We're not selling ourselves. We are coming with this, I beg, pity me. I just want to leave my country. I beg, pity me. You're just throwing in applications randomly and haphazardly. And you hear somebody say, I applied to 100 applications or 100 schools. I submitted 100 applications. I didn't get feedback from any. Sometimes I'm like, can I see what you've been writing? Because most times it lies with how the person has been selling him his or herself. It's like, oh, pity me, or I came from a very poor home. We don't used to eat 3 square meal in my house. That's why I'm even applying to food and nutrition program. It will help me leave my own country. No, you have to apply with an expatriate mindset. That when they see that, come, this person may not really have been exposed to like top-notch like research like equipment and all of that, but this person really still knows what he or she is doing. And if we give this person this opportunity, this person is going to make good use of it. No one wants to throw away funds to someone who they are not sure. They are not doing charity. It's not a charity organization. research institutes, especially in North America, Pierre will always say it's not a charity organization. We're not here to help you. Like, we're not here to lift you out of poverty. We are recruiting you for you to come and like extend the research in this school, extend this research area, extend like the progress of research in this area. So it's not a charity organization. So nobody is going to admit you if the only thing you have to tell them is how poor you are, how bad Nigeria is, or how this happened, how that happened. No, you have to also make them see that it's not bad to put that in, especially when you're writing your personal statements. Yeah, you throw in those cards. Oh, I'm a first generation student, you throw in those cards. But when it comes to SOP, try as much as you can that you are selling yourself. Your major thing is putting your best foot forward. This is what I can do. These are the experiences I have. Oh, I have this leadership experience. I've done this, I've done that, and this will help. And that is that. I don't want to waste too much time. So I'll just run through like the last 2 slides I have. So the do's and don'ts of writing essays. Start early. So people will write essay 24 hours to deadline. I don't understand that kind of essay you're writing. Right, start early. If you want to apply in September, you should start now to start asking yourself these questions. Even if you're writing a sentence every day, start early. Review the prompt, take note of instructions. Some people, your program says write 500 words. You've written 1,000 words already. You now say, how do I reduce this thing now? This thing is. So start early. Ensure your profile fits that of the program. It has to match. It has to match. You don't just come and start saying things that you apply to environmental engineering program and telling them about music. Who cares? How does that fit into whatever we're saying? You can add that in your CV as, oh my, how do I say it's my, there's a way they write it in CV, my hobbies, right? But when it comes to essay, you are serious. Whatever you're putting in there, especially because you have limited space, whatever you're putting in there, you sell yourself, you get. Now, create an outline, smooth and clear roadmap. Like I said, I've listed out, like, for me, the way I always write those paragraphs, I have those paragraphs written. So I know in each paragraph what goes into each paragraph. Brainstorm ideas, reflect on your points before writing. Those questions, pre-writing questions that I listed out, you need to look at them in depth. Answer those questions honestly. Have answers to each of them. Show, don't tell. Like I said, when I was talking, I'm like, what the person did was, the person was not telling them who her. I have good research experience. How? Show it. The person had to tell them, oh, my research paper has been published. And this is what this has helped me do. You get, so you show, you don't tell, oh, I have teaching experience. How? The person had to tell them, oh, I've taught so and so students. This is what I did. So you don't just tell, just write it. You can do that in your CV. That's where you do all those 10, like, you just summarize what you've done. But when it comes to your essay, you show it. I think one of my friends always say, oh, use the smart writing pattern where you specific blah blah blah. Whatever it is. I'm trying to remember what it is, but I can't remember it clearly now. But you show, you don't tell. So they're able to find out for themselves as they're reading it. Let them be the one to know what points to take home. You show, you don't tell. Proofread. Don't go and send essay that you wrote the professor's name wrongly. Or maybe it's an essay you used to apply to Alabama. You now submit that same essay to California, UC Davis. And UC Davis is saying University of Alabama. They are saying University of Alabama professors. They're like, this person is not serious. So proofread. Send it to somebody else to look at it. And do that early. It's not when you have application deadline that is tomorrow. You are now reaching out to somebody this night and saying, oh, I have one application deadline tomorrow, I beg, help me review this thing. Nah. I need that like urgent. No. Plan ahead of time, and that's why you have to start early. Now, don't lying or misrepresentation. Don't go and lie that you know how to use something when you don't know how to use it. Your sin will find you out. Don't lie. Whatever little thing you have, little experience, research experience, whatever, find a way to like package it well. By packaging, I don't mean lying. Like make it look good. Like write it very well, that somebody reading it doesn't like belittle your experience, but don't lie. Generic stories. Most growing up as a child, that one is one very, very generic opening for SOP. In fact, once you send your SOP to me to review, and I just see growing up as a child, man, I'm already irritated first of all, because I'm like, this is what everybody writes. And do you know how many growing up as a child that professor or the admission committee will read in that day? Everybody's writing growing up as a child. No, you have to stand out, especially um, for people like us who are coming from developing countries. You have to stand out so they take you seriously. Traumatic personal experience. You go and write story that even the admission committee will start crying. I'm not saying it's bad to use that, but let that not be the focus. That at the end of the day, when they finish crying, they're not like, but what exactly did these students say? You just start writing like a lot of personal things, traumatic things that at the end of the day, you've not even made a point, right? Politics, religion, don't bring politics and religion into your essay. You don't know what political party or what religion the person reviewing your essay has, or yeah, is affiliated to. So don't bring that into your essay. Don't come and start writing, I'm against this person, just whatever you do, don't take sides. Now, subjects that make you appear negative. Yeah, don't like make your essay be too, what's the word to use now? Like your essay, there's nothing, the person reads your essay and the person is so sad. No, 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 no. So make your essay just normal. Don't make it too, like, don't be at either of the extremes. Over familiar tone that you now start talking as if you're writing as if it's your baby or chiking. No. So make sure whatever you're writing, you still appear formal. Even if you're writing a personal statement, appear formal, semi-formal to formal. Don't start writing essays or you start using slangs, start using Nigerian slangs that these guys don't even understand. You now write the Nigerian slang, you now explain it in English. Like, no, whatever you're doing, make sure you're professional about it. So, final checklists. I think I got this from Rachel's presentation in FSS. So I don't know if Rachel is here, so she'll be seeing this. I saw this, I'm like, oh, this sounds nice. Final checklist. Have you described your academic background, research experience in detail to show your experience and preparedness in the field? Have you shown that you are a good fit for the program you're applying to? Have you defined why you want a graduate degree in this field? Have you demonstrated that you are self-motivated, persistent, competent, and have the skills necessary to be successful in graduate school? Like I said, don't tell, because some people be like, I am a self-motivated, persistent, competent. Calm down. You have to show them, let them be the one to summarize and say, okay, from all these things this person has written, this person has proved to be self-motivated, persistent, and all of that. Now, follow the essay instructions as defined by your program. If your program says use a particular font, make sure you stick to it. If they say it's 500 words, stick to it. Proofread your essays and share with others for review and feedback. And I think that's that. So, question and answer. I'm sorry I took a lot of time, but I had to spend time to talk about the sections, and I really don't have much time to go into other essays. But I think this is a good starting point for
All right.
that.
All right. Thank you so much, Comfort,
Yeah.
for that wonderful presentation. So, because our speaker took 7 minutes of the question and answer time, we are only going to have 8 minutes to answer question and answer. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Then,
fine.
yeah. Then she's gonna try. So, Comfort, go through the chat and look at the questions you can answer
Okay,
within the next 8 minutes. Yeah.
I'm trying to see copy. Okay, Richard responded. Yeah. Is it okay if my research interest changes while enrolled in grad? Yeah, fine. Fine. Like when I was applying to UC Davis, what I wanted to do is not what I'm currently doing, right? So yeah, your research interests may change while you're already in graduate school, but for you to get into graduate school, you have to have like a defined like research interest. When you get in there, I know people who have switched departments because they found out, oh, this thing I thought I was interested in, I'm no longer interested in it. And they switch departments, they probably even switch universities. So yeah, that can happen. But for a start, you need to know what you're interested in. Please, can we access yesterday and today? Yeah, sure. Dr. Sheon has already said it will be on the YouTube channel, Scholars Connect. Yeah. Could you please grant us access to the slide? Dr. Sheon, are we giving them access to the slide or just the video?
For now, I think I'll get all the slides from the speakers, then
Okay.
I'll put it in a Google Drive and send it to everyone. Yeah. I'll just share the
Okay.
link. I think I'm gonna edit maybe the what's it called, the live stream on
Yeah.
YouTube and just ask people
Uh,
to use the link there.
okay, that's fine. We need all the slides. Oh, nice. Yeah. Is there any difference in writing SOP for research-based and course-based? Yeah, there's a difference. I think what I touched on is more of research. People applying to research-based masters. For someone applying to a course-based masters, probably people applying to MBA or data analysis program that are not really like research focused, right? So, like I said, I think I touched on that. That what do you want them to see you as at the end of the day after reading like your essays? What is the take-home message? That should inform how you go about writing it. Now, you may not be talking about research interest. All those places that has research interest, professors, you may cut that out, right? You may just focus on, oh, post-graduation, like while you were in school and post-graduation, what have you done? Focus on your leadership. If you are applying to like a an MBA program, you're focusing more on your leadership, business skills, and all of that. If you're applying to, let's say, a data science program, you're going to be focusing more on your technical skills, like programming skills and all of that. So projects you've been able to work on, what were the outcomes. So you can actually just tweak it to what suits you. Yeah. Um, Let me see. Okay, I think I've answered this. Specific, measurable, achievable. Yeah, that's the SMART goals I was trying to talk about. So, I think I clearly remember what my friend said. If you are writing, like in the part where I was talking about show, don't tell, when you're writing, what you want them to see has to be specific. If you can put in figures, like that person puts in figures to say, oh, I was able to teach 20 undergraduate interns, stuffs like that, and in so and so time. Yeah. Um, you said something about prompts. Can you throw some light to it? Oh, yeah. So when I say prompts, when you check like the websites, the department websites that you see a list of what they want you to submit as your application package. For maybe like essays, some people go further to say, okay, write a statement of purpose. This should include your career objectives, leadership experience, whatever it is. So you should take down notes of that, because at the end of the day, after writing whatever you have to write your essay, you are going to judge your essay against these rubrics to see, okay, these things they listed, is it clear in my essay? Now, another way I've seen someone do it, although I'm not like a fan of using, I don't want to encourage people to use ChatGPT to write their essays. I'm not saying you should use ChatGPT to write your essay, but after writing your essay, you can post your essay in ChatGPT, post the prompt that the school gave you and say, okay, do you think this essay has been able to like answer all the questions or the expectations listed in this prompt? So ChatGPT will go through it and tell you things that I think, okay, maybe you're not really touching more on leadership experience, you're not touching more on like your career goals, If it's good, ChatGPT may say, oh, this essay is excellent. I think it matches like the expectations of the program, stuff like that. But don't use ChatGPT to write your essay. Because we had a case recently, I saw on Twitter recently, where two, how will I say, political representatives, for me, I think they used ChatGPT and they posted the same stuff. So let ChatGPT not go and give you another person's essay. I'm gonna No, like you're not getting a very bad position that the both of you are not applying to the same program. You're not seeing, these essays, they look similar. These two people probably don't even know each other, right? So you don't use ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT questions, but don't use it to like write your essay. Thank you so much. It is nice. In a situation where your BSc and MSc research is not related and you want to pursue the research from your PSc, can the MSc be neglected when writing the SOP? Yeah, in this case, I would not say totally neglect your MSc. Pick out skills. Skills. What skills have you been able to get? So instead of focusing on the project, um, or the research, focus more on the skills to say, okay, even though I know recently I was working with someone close to me to write an essay for him, and what he did in undergrad, like research, wasn't like is not directly similar to what he's going for in his master's. And what we sort of agreed to focus on was okay, this is my research topic. This was what my undergrad research topic focus. Now, although it is not related to this program, I have gotten experience in this. And the person went ahead to show how whatever experience or skills the person had gotten is going to like add to like the program. So I don't know. I
All
already
right.
said it's not good to use AI. So I think that's how much I could do.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
we can move to the next one. And what you can do during my session is to just uh
Yeah.
start responding to the
Yeah.
questions directly in the chat box. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, let me stop sharing. Okay.
All right. So, Comfort, do you want to go ahead? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot I was the one to introduce my boss. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to like the next section where we'll be talking about ASIN scholarship interviews. And it's a privilege to be introducing my yoga from way back, Dr. Oluwaseun Ajayi. So he had his PhD at the University of Cincinnati in biological sciences, and he's currently a postdoc. So I think he has all the experiences. He has done a lot of interviews, from he was also like a Commonwealth scholar, a Commonwealth shared scholar at the UK. So he has a lot of experiences with interviews. So we'll be welcoming him to talk about interviews, teach us how to go about interviews. And it's a privilege, to be introducing him. Yeah, over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Comfort, for that brief introduction. All right. Just to correct something, I actually won the Commonwealth scholarship, but not to the United Kingdom. It
Oh,
was to the. It was one of the scheme when they started, sending people to low and middle income countries. So I was
oh,
at Jamaica for 1 year,
oh,
which was a
nice.
nice experience. So we were
Yeah,
the first set of people to enjoy that particular scholarship. Yeah. I
yeah.
still have my, what's it called? What you put on your clothes. I still have it. They send it to
Oh,
us. They send certificate.
great.
Certificate from the last queen,
Yeah,
before she died. Yeah. So
nice.
all right. So I'm gonna be talking about what's it called? How you can ace, scholarship interviews. So I'm gonna share my screen right now. All right. Just let me know in the chat box if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
All right. Thank you. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. So we're just going to talk about ACEN scholarship interviews, and just to kind of like give an overview, that one of the important process or steps, you know, in any admission uh process, or is what we call the interview step. So it's an important step, during the admission or scholarship, process. But one has to be careful to know that, not all programs, not all scholarships require interview. Not all scholarships, not all programs require interview, you know. And importantly, scholarship interview, requires, preparation and practice. You need to actually prepare. you need to put in adequate preparation. You need to practice, before you attend a scholarship interview. Don't just go there and believe that you can talk under inspiration. It doesn't work that way. So, like I was saying the other time, that and I think Comfort mentioned that as well. Not all programs, for example, in the United States, most admission process are handled by just reviewing your documents alone. They'll just evaluate your documents alone. But sometimes some programs like lab rotation based programs might ask, students to come for specialized interviews. So during these specialized interviews, you will now have, that opportunity to meet with people that you might likely work with, during the course of your graduate studies. Or sometimes, they will also, create this kind of open forum where you have active discussion with current grad students so that you can ask them questions about the program and so many other things like that. So, and like I said earlier, not all these, scholarships require interview. For example, Commonwealth scholarship require interview. I remember when I was doing that, uh, I had to go to Abuja, yeah, because the Commonwealth for MS and PhD requires you to be nominated. Is either you're nominated by your country's Ministry of Education, or you are nominated by your university. So if you're a staff of a university, you can be nominated for that particular one. So if you're nominated by your university, then you don't need to do any interview. But if you want to secure nomination by the Ministry of Education of your country, then you need to do interview. So they will take you all to Abuja. I remember, yeah, sorry, I'm talking based on my experience as a Nigerian. So that's why I'm mentioning Abuja. So they will take you to Abuja, and you will bring all your documents, and you will sit with a panel, and they will be looking at it. Then again, like Comfort was saying the other time, I have had several experiences, of having interviews. I also had interview with the Japanese Next scholarship. There was one of the steps where we wrote exam. So there's a written test, and after the written test, you're going to be contacted, that you should come for an interview if you are successful at the written test. So at the interview stage, you also meet with panels. I mean, a panel of individuals, and they will be asking you questions, about your motivation. I'm going to get there at some point for some of the questions that you might be asked during an interview. Then again, some programs, even before they consider you for funding, just for them to consider you for admission, like in the UK, I applied to University of Birmingham. Then I was trying to use them for the Commonwealth scholarship. They had to sit with me, and organize an interview just to know if I'm the right fit for the program before they would even give me admission. So these are the kind of scenarios where interview can actually come up. All right, so you may ask me, why are interviews required? So you might be thinking, why do they actually want to interview me? You know, are they not satisfied with my documents? But one thing you should know is that sometimes they have a large pool of applicants. Especially during this current situation where schools are waiving application fees. So a lot of people are applying to grad school, and it will be unfair if they just go by your, CV, your SOP, and just, make decisions. Sometimes the decisions might be difficult, to make because they received applications from excellent candidates. So the way to actually go about it to know whether someone is a good fit is for them to organize, scholarship interview, or what we call admission interview. Sometimes they want to put names to, they want to put faces to the names of the applicants. They want to see you. They want to relate with you. I don't know if some of us have seen when you visit some websites, they will say that you should do something because they are not sure if you are a robot or not. Sometimes they don't assume that the person who submitted the application is not a robot. So they want to put faces to the names of the applicants, and they want to be sure that you are interested in that program. And sometimes, because they know that someone like Comfort, Harvard is looking for her, Yale is looking for her, so they want to convince you. Sometimes they will ask you to come for interview because they want to convince you to choose their university. Don't go anywhere else. So to further convince the applicants about the need to consider their academic program. All right. So what should you do before attending an interview? What should you do before attending an interview? You must confirm the date and time in the appropriate time zone. I remember this has actually happened to one of my big brothers before. He had an interview and he messed up the time zone. The time zone can be easily messed up, especially in the United States. United States has more than 8 different time zones. So if you're not careful, uh, you will miss your interview. So that's why you have to check the email very well. What time was what was the time that was written in the email? Was it CST? Is it EST or EDT? Is it Pacific time? So many times like that. There's a mountain summer time also, MST or something. So there's several time zone. Is it a South African time zone? Is it Korean time zone? So you must confirm. For example, a lot of people missed out on this scholarship workshop that we are doing because they didn't read the advert very carefully. Some people were logging in because I was receiving emails in the middle of the night, and someone was reaching out to me that why are we not having the event right now? But because they didn't confirm the time zone, so there's West African time. So always check the date and the time in the appropriate time zone. Ask questions. So if it is not clear to you, send an email to the person in charge of the interview and ask again, what time am I expected to be there? All right, so review your application documents. And that's why we add this particular, we combine scholarship interview and essays together because it goes along. So please review your application documents before you go for an interview. What are the things you wrote on your statement of purpose? What are the things that showed up in your curriculum vitae or CV? What are the things that you submitted with your resume? You want to be sure. Then not only that, also go through, and that's why I always encourage people when you are making application, make sure you save your application form. So every step of the way, look at all the responses you give to the application, to all the application tabs, and save them. Sometimes some application might not have that, what's it called? That functionality. So what you can do is that as you go along, maybe page one, you quickly save your response. You can print it and have it handy so that you can know the responses you gave. So that when you are talking to UC Davis, when you're having your interview, you are not giving the responses you gave to Pittsburgh. You don't want to mix things up. So check very well, review your application documents, check what you wrote as motivation in your statement of purpose, because they are going to go back to all your application documents and use that as a basis to judge you. Then read up on the funding organization. So if you're going for a Commonwealth scholarship or you're going for a Chevening scholarship interview, you want to read up on the organization. You want to know their values. You want to know their vision. You want to know their mission statement. You want to be sure. You want to be sure of, because the funding organization wants to be sure that you are familiar with the scholarship you're applying to. What are their objectives? Because that way you can always tailor your responses to the mission statement or the objectives of that particular scholarship. They want to go back to the academic program that you're applying to. For example, if the interview is being organized by Department of Biological Sciences at the University of Cincinnati, you want to go back to the website and read up on the curriculum of the program, read up on every information you can find on the webpage. Then, sometimes when necessary, you need to read up on the interview panel. Some particular, programs, we send out the list of uh, professors that will be on your interview panel. Why some will ask you to select those you want to have in your interview panel. So whoever does the selection, make sure you have, the names of those people written out and you start researching on them, get yourself familiar. Because most time what they do is that they will bring people whose research interests align with what you wrote in your personal statement.
So those are the likely people you might work with when you start your grad school education. Then practice your answers to the most commonly asked scholarship interview questions. Practice them. Write the prompt on your paper, on a sheet of paper. Practice, practice, and practice. But I'll need to emphasize this that sometimes, for example, I was given an example of the scholarship interview I did for Commonwealth and the one I did for Japanese Mest. I remember during that day, some people went ahead, and so after they were done, I was able to ask them questions. So, but I know that time is very short to prepare answers. But sometimes it might be maybe 2 days apart or 1 week apart. So check if there's any information from those who have sat for the interview so that you can know the likely questions that might be asked. And that way it's going to help your preparation in the long run. Don't memorize your answers. I must warn you about this. Because what they want to see is someone who is honest, someone whose responses are heartfelt, during the course of the interview. Because there's a way you will know if someone has memorized. Because sometimes you will be stumbling and you're trying to get your flow back. So please don't memorize your answers. Just understand the structure of your answers. Understand the key points that you want to talk about. Those are the things that are important. Do mock interviews. Do mock interviews. This is very, very important. Do mock interviews. I remembered like maybe 2 years ago when I was less busy, I used to organize mock interviews for people. And there are several ways you can do mock interviews. You can stand in front of the mirror and be, rehearsing your answers. You can be rehearsing your responses. You can ask a friend to come around, give that person some of the commonly asked questions and ask the person to, be the interviewer at that point in time. You can talk to family members or you can talk to volunteer scholar, someone who have gone ahead. People like Comfort, they always have time to, give you interviews like that. Someone like Abosede Christian, Rachel, they're always available to do mock interviews. Then have your space, the space that you're going to be using for the interview, make sure you have it ready. Make sure it's a place that is devoid of distraction. If it requires that you leave home, please do. Have your accessories, your computer, laptop, have it charged. Please, if you're going to be doing scholarship interview, don't use a phone. Don't use your phone. I know sometimes your phone might have very good functionality. Please use a laptop because that way you can use your webcam. And don't use a laptop that does not have webcam, except if it's an audio interview. So make sure your space is well lit in terms of lighting. You want them to see your face. Then again, have your clothes, have them ready. So I'll get there in a bit. Then write down potential questions you ask the interview panel. So for most scholarship interviews, don't just go there with the mindset that they will ask you questions alone. Also prepare your own questions. There are several questions you can ask. What are the benefits of the scholarship? No, don't ask those kind of questions that are already stated in the scholarship, how would I call it now? Scholarship prospectus. You want to ask questions that are out of the scholarship prospectus, things that might be confusing to you. For example, you might want to ask about, if you are applying to University of Cincinnati, for example, you might want to ask about the city. You might want to ask about mentorship style. You might want to ask about, how do the departments support, what's it called? Career development. How do they support students for seminars, for conferences? Those are some of the questions you can ask during the interview panel session. So please don't go there with just the mindset that they're going to be asking you questions alone. You want to also prepare your own questions. So what do interview questions actually evaluate? I won't spend too much time on this because of time. So they look at your academic profile, and already that's been written or that has been submitted with your application packet, your CGPA, your previous educational background, your previous research experience, maybe you submitted GRE, you submitted IELTS. Those are the things that count as your academic profile. And those are the things that the questions that will be asked, those are the things that it will actually look at. Then they want to look at, the interview questions want to evaluate your personality, your personality, who you are, your traits, your characteristics. They want to look at your strengths and weaknesses. So interview questions want to evaluate your strengths and weaknesses. Interview questions want to evaluate your goals. What are your goals? What are your career plans? The interview questions want to evaluate your motivation. Why are you interested in this scholarship? What's your motivation for grad school? Why are you interested in doing a PhD or master's? Interview question wants to evaluate stress management. How do you manage stress? How do you manage failures? How do you manage, adversity in the past? Then they want to evaluate extracurricular activities like leadership, leadership and service as well. Extracurricular activities, what were you involved in? Not just your academic experience or academic portfolio alone. A lot of times, people come to this point in their lives and the only thing about them is academics. That's not going to cut it for you. So make sure you are engaged, and if you have younger ones still in the university right now, please talk to them. Let them be engaged in extracurricular activities. You can join a debate society, you can join a quiz group, you can join a journalism group on campus, be a part of politics, student politics. You can be a department, you can be a departmental president, a departmental gen sec, PRO, anything, but make sure that what you're doing, and it's not just the department alone, even your faith-based organization, your campus fellowships, maybe your Muslim society, be part of something, go out there, put yourself out there. Don't let your life just be about academics, because what they want is people who are going to be student leaders. They don't want to just give I would say they don't want to just give funding to a brilliant dummy. Someone who is just about academics, about books, a nerd. They want people, who are balanced, well balanced. All right, so common interview questions. What are the common interview questions? I'm trying to look at my time. What are the common interview questions? One of the most important questions you're going to be asked is to tell us about yourself. How can you describe yourself? And if you don't know how to describe yourself at this point, please learn how to describe yourself. Sometimes they might say in a few words, describe yourself. And what they expect you to do at this point is to talk about yourself, your research experience, what you are passionate about, and so many other things about you, about your personality, or about what you're interested in as hobbies. Or you don't start with your hobbies, and maybe end with your hobbies, what you're interested in. You want to make it kind of like, a very fun conversation. What is your greatest strength and weakness? They will ask that. I'm not saying they're going to ask that for a fact, but most of these questions are going to be asked. Why do you deserve this scholarship or being admitted with funding? What are your motivations for graduate school? What are your career goals? Who has been a role model or an inspiration for you? What challenge or challenges or adversities did you face in the past, and how did you overcome them? Why did you choose the university or school? This is very important. They want to ask you, why Yale and not Harvard? Why Stanford and not MIT? They want to know why you choose their school, and that's why it's good for you to go back to their website, check, why Comfort was talking about essays, he talked about that aspect as well. Go back and review your application document, and look at some of the reasons you gave to justify your choice for that particular university. So they might ask you, why did you choose this particular scholarship? Why are you interested in the Commonwealth scholarship? Why are you interested? You want to tie your response to the objectives of that particular scholarship. Why did you choose this university? Is it because of their, DEI initiative? Is it because of the techniques? Is it because that of a particular professor whose research is the only place where you can find it? There are schools like that, that a particular research, like a particular professor is a world leader in that particular research. That might be your motivation for choosing that university. You have to actually state it. Sometimes they might go ahead and ask, why did you choose this program? Why are you interested in, cancer biology? You must be able to give a very convincing answer to this. Then we want to ask you, what activities are you involved in? Apart from your academics, what other activities are you involved in? Are you a volunteer for any organization? For example, now, on any of my own application, at some point, maybe towards the end of the year, I will be applying for faculty positions. So one of the things I will be putting there is my volunteering position as, as the convener for Scholars Connect. They want to see that apart from doing research, apart from doing academic work, what other things are you involved in extracurricular, in terms of extracurricular activities? So make sure you, that's why I was encouraging you, please, at this point, if you don't have any, start being engaged in that, Then what achievement makes you proud? Maybe in the past, there was a particular achievement. You can go back in time to your 100 level, maybe it was your 100 level. You won the best student in a particular course. No one will state it. And why did you choose that achievement? Something like that. When have you demonstrated leadership skills? They might ask this kind of question as well. How will this scholarship or program help you reach your goals? So, and this is where it is very, very sketchy that, you're talking about choosing Stanford, or you're talking about choosing a particular program, but when you are writing your SOP, your career goals does not even fit into the mission or vision of Stanford. So that is very sketchy. So make sure that when you're talking about your career goals, you must be willing to answer the question. If they give you the scholarship, if you're admitted to this school, will the school be able to help you achieve that particular career goal? So those are the kind of things you must watch out for. Then how do you manage stress and failure? So those are the kind of questions you might be asked as well. How do you manage stress and failure? How do you manage stress and failure? Then is there anything else you want to add? This part is very important. This is the part where you're gonna, I told you the other time that when you are going for scholarship interview, don't just go there with the mindset that, oh, they're gonna be asking me questions alone. You also want to ask them questions, and this is where it is important. Sometimes you want to ask them about their mentorship style. How do they support students for conferences and workshops? How does their funding works? Do they have funding for summer? If you come from the United States, there are different, funding mechanisms. Some students are placed on 9 months salary so that in the summer they don't have any stipend. And sometimes some department will create mechanism to provide stipend by creating maybe teaching responsibilities. Those are the kind of questions you want to clarify. For example, I'm applying for Commonwealth. Even though maybe they didn't explain it very well about, bringing your partner, how much is your partner going to be getting if the person comes with you for the scholarship? Those are the kind of things. Oh, can I stay behind? I know they won't allow you to stay behind after your scholarship if you're applying for the Commonwealth scholarship. So these are the kind of questions you want to ask. The next one, other specific questions. So while I told you the other time that 2 years ago, I think it was 3 years, 2 years ago, I was actively organizing scholarship interview for people, and I came up with some questions. Some of them I've already talked about them, but all these specific questions are related to maybe you're applying to a grad school that you're going to be doing research for the rest of, for the duration of your class, of your course. So they can ask you, like, can you give a summary of the significance of your previous research? maybe you stated a particular research that you did, maybe a master's research or a bachelor's research. They might ask you, what is the significance of that research? How do you explain that? And sometimes some people might be tough. They might tell you that maybe in 2 sentences, explain the significance of research. And that's why you have to read again, read your what's it called, application documents, go over them. Then they might ask you, do you have a favorite technique and why? They can ask you, do you have a research preference at the university? And that is when you're talking about the professor that you want to work with. This is the research I want to do, and these are the professors that I can work with. And you must state why you think you can work with them. What relevant skills are you bringing to this program or lab? So this is very, very important when you're applying to a lab rotation-based graduate program. So they want to ask you, the skill that you have. It might be a data analytics skill. It might be ability to write, but you must have a skill. It might be leadership skill. What is your opinion on ethics in science and research? They might ask you some hypothetical questions. You just want to gauge your reasoning, how you are able to, think on the spot. How do you plan to continue the research done at this university when you return to your home country? This is very, very important. And I know Commonwealth Scholarship does this a lot. They write something, there's a prompt where you respond to, call it benefits to home country. Because the essence of Commonwealth Scholarship is that you go there and whatever skill, whatever techniques, whatever research expertise that you gain after your program, that you use the same when you come back home. So you might apply to maybe Harvard University, and one of the one of the panels on the interview might ask you, okay, you want to do this research. How do you intend to continue this research when you return to your own country? So you must be willing to give proper responses to that. Then how do you work effectively with mentors and colleagues in a lab setting? So they want to gauge your ability to work with people. They want to gauge, not just independence, but are you a science leader? Are you a team member? So sometimes some people are not good team members. They might be good independently, but they are not good team members. And most times, research requires collaboration. Research requires collaboration. For the papers I've published so far for my PhD, the least number of authors so far that I've had are 5. So your research sometimes require working with different people. So they want to know your preparation, your preparedness for being a team member, and not just your like. Then there's this kind of relationship they want to see. How do you relate with superiors, and how do you relate with people on the same level? Then interview skills and etiquette. Interview skills and etiquette. I call this what you should do during the course of the interview. No, I already addressed what you should do before the interview. Right now, we're going to look at what you should do during the course of the interview. Number 1, join the interview early, at least 15 minutes before time. Join the Zoom. If it's a Zoom call, join it at least 15 minutes before time so that you know that all the functionality is working. Don't try to join a minute to the interview. And maybe that's when your data finishes. You are not trying to scramble to get data. Please, if you join as early as possible, and I need to address that as well. I didn't talk about that while I was talking about, before the interview date. Make sure, especially if you're in a place that is not blessed with unlimited data, like me, I don't have to care, because I'm in a place that it is unlimited data. So I'm not scared that the data is going to run out. The only time I can be scared of is if there's internet shutdown, maybe because of the service provider. So please confirm that you have enough data. So if you have maybe excuse me, if you have an interview for 1 hour, you want to have data that is sufficient for 2 hours or more than. If you have an interview for 30 minutes, make sure you have a data that is sufficient for more than. I will even advise you that you buy unlimited at that point in time. It's just a sacrifice that you have to pay. And if there are colleagues that have maybe Wi-Fi that you want to use, but be very careful about using public Wi-Fi, because something can go wrong. Yeah, so please be careful. So join the interview early, at least 15 minutes before time. Have adequate or sufficient data for that particular interview. Test things, test your mic, test your speaker. Can you hear very well? Those are the kind of things you want to do. Sit up and dress well. Don't lie on your bed during an interview. Sit like I'm doing now. Sit properly, and dress well, like I'm dressing. You don't have to wear, especially if you're applying to programs in the United States, you don't have to wear tie. You don't have to be on tie. And as a and as a lady, you don't have to be on gown because you're attending interview. You can be formally casual, but don't be informal. You can even put on a t-shirt, depending. But I would advise that, be like me, like I'm doing for this particular scholarship workshop. This kind of dressing is decent enough, especially if you're applying to United States graduate program. Except if that scholarship program now tells you what's it called? The dress code, then you can now go ahead. I remember when I went to Abuja, I had to I didn't even put on suit. I pity people who put on suit that day because we were there from 8 a.m. Some of us were there. I left home. I left Maraba because I stayed with someone. I left there 6 a.m. and I only returned 11 p.m. It was a disaster. I won't lie to you. The organization was very poor. I'm not trying to cast, aspersion on the Ministry of Education, but it was a poor organization. There were a lot of people. So some people they put on suits and they took it off at some point. I was just there. I was just simple. I had my shirt like this and trouser. I tucked in. And I don't think I even wore a tie. Yeah, but accepting the dress code, is explicit. Just be formally casual. Yeah. Calm your nerves. A lot of times, the reason why people fail or mess up I think I'm doing badly on time, so I'll have to rush now. A lot of times, people do badly during scholarship interviews because they are nervous. Then if you are someone you might have studied yourself a long time ago, know how to calm your own nerves. So while you're there, please calm yourself down, be confident, maintain eye contact, look straight into their eyes, while you're answering the questions. Don't look like this, don't try to take your eyes off them. Yoruba will say this word, ojulorowa, so maintain eye contact. Listen attentively to the questions. A lot of times people don't know how to listen. Listen attentively. While they are talking, don't interrupt. Listen attentively. Get the questions that they are asking. And only give responses to what you are asked. Sometimes they will ask you, how did you get from Mushin to Yaba? You are answering how you got to Abuja. Please always stay within the scope of the questions asked. Don't overdo it. If you don't know the answer to a question, be honest about it. But this is kind of like a balance to this. Sometimes even if you don't know the answer straight away, try and tell them to ask the question again. Like you are acting as if you didn't hear them very well. So that as they are repeating the question, you are using that time to rehearse your answers. But please make sure you don't overdo asking them to repeat the questions. Use engaged body language. Make sure your poise, your hand gesticulations, don't make it modest. So you want to make sure you're using a engaged body language. Your posture within the seat is well relaxed. You are not just lowering like this in the seat. That is not an engaged. Be actively involved. Even if they are not seeing your video, be actively involved. Sometimes, if I turn off my video now, I can slow like this in the seat. You will not know, but I will not be engaged. So be engaged. Use engaged body language. That's what I mean. Be yourself and be confident. Be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try and go on YouTube and try to be looking at how some people are talking. No, there's a way you are talking, and that's your uniqueness. Maintain it and be confident about it. But make sure you are not too arrogant, or don't be arrogant at all. Don't be overly confident. Don't be cocky. I know you finished with the first class, but don't be cocky about it. And interview panels can easily, smell arrogance. So please be careful, be yourself and be confident. If you do not hear a question clearly, feel free to ask them to repeat the question, but make sure that you don't do this too often. It will give them an idea that you don't know how to listen, that you don't listen carefully. What you do after an interview? What should you do after an interview? Politely ask about the next steps. So you can ask them after the interview, oh, when are they going to get back to me? Or some, those are the kind of questions you can ask. Okay, when should I be expecting the admission decision or something like that? Especially if they don't see anything about it. So politely ask about the next steps. Oh, what should I do at this point? So just make sure you ask about the next steps. Politely ask about the next steps. Then send a thank you email. This is good practice. Once you are done, send a thank you email. Whoever is writing, please stop that. I'm gonna start sharing at this point, so I can take off that green stuff. Again, please don't write on my screen. Please, let's be careful. All right, so send a thank you email when you're done. It's very easy. Send an email to the interview. Thank you for having me on your interview today. I count as a privilege, to be one of the candidates. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk about myself, my aspiration and career goals. I'm looking forward to a favorable admission decision. Those are the kind of things you can write. All right, so we're gonna go into an activity right now for the next five minutes, and just look at some of the answers to commonly asked interview questions. So tell us about yourself. So this is someone's response. Say, I'm someone who is really passionate about the ocean. That's why I plan on majoring in marine biology and becoming an NOAA scientist one day. I have already earned my scuba certification and I've gone on several dives. When I'm not in the water, I really enjoy reading poetry or volunteering at our local library summer literacy program for kids. So these are the so this person was, talking about their values, talking about their passion, so this is a very good, what's it called? Very good response to telling someone about yourself. But are there things missing that you can talk about? So are there things missing that you think someone can add? So for example, the person can add their names. You can start out with your name. Oh, my name is this. I'm from so. I'm from Nigeria. I'm from Cameroon. I know that they've seen your application, but don't assume. So start with that. Introduce your name. I don't know what's wrong with my. Okay. So what is your greatest weakness? So I'm gonna read this and tell you some of the things that were done right here. Frustration is definitely something I'm trying to work on. If something doesn't click with me right away, I can get irritated with myself. I understand that it takes time to get good at something, so I am trying to learn to be more patient. For example, I have been taking up watercolors as a hobby, but since it's a new skill, I'm not really good yet. and tend to dislike whatever I create. To counterbalance that, I've been watching tutorials and trying to repaint things and make them better. So what you can note, I mean, the things you should notice from this particular answer is that the person was sincere about their weakness. And at the same time, the person highlighted things that they've started or things that they will start doing, to help navigate that weakness. So while you are giving your own responses, you should do the same. As you talk about your weakness, talk about things that you are doing to actually help you cope with the weakness. All right. Another example is this one. Why do you deserve this scholarship? So look at the response of this person. Ever since my cousin was diagnosed with is it cystic fibrosis? Yeah, cystic fibrosis. I have wanted to become a pediatrician. Medical school is expensive, and this scholarship will help me accomplish my goal of becoming a doctor and helping sick kids like me. So look at how this person coined it. So there was a motivation behind why they want to get the scholarship. There was someone in their family, it was a personal issue in their family. Someone was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, and that was the motivating factor for that person to become a doctor. And the person explained that, oh, because medical school is expensive, they need this scholarship. Yours might be different. So, but make sure your reasons are germane and genuine. All right, so I would like us to talk about this one in the comment section. I mean, the chat box. Talk about some of the things that are wrong with this particular prompt. So can you tell us about yourself? So you can read, I will not read because it's a lot. So please, I would like us to have answers in the chat box. I'd like us to have answers in the chat box. Answers in the chat box. What are the things wrong? What are the things that were done rightly for this particular prompt? So I don't think anybody is answering. So I would say this. I think there were some unnecessary details. So that's one of the things I noticed from this. There were some unnecessary details. So always keep with the most important details. So this person said, I hold a master's degree in environmental microbiology with specialization in antimicrobial properties of natural products against. That's too much. That's too much details. When you are expected, at some point they're going to ask you about your research. So you can use that time to expand on it. So make sure, yeah, the response is too long. One needs to be careful with response so as not to be bored interviewers. Yeah, it's too long. So people should watch out for that. So let me go to the next one because of time. What are your motivations for graduate school? Why this university? So please read this as well. I'll give us time to read this and please review and give feedback. Yeah, I'm seeing some chat already. So it's too bombarded with words. Can you give an example, please? Can you give specific examples? So, for example, I've enjoyed my academic work so far. I think that's too generic. I think that's too generic. It's not that, everybody enjoys, everybody will want to say that they enjoy their academic work. Because you can't go to a scholarship interview and say you don't enjoy your academic work. Then nobody wants to give you funding. You are not precise. Someone said not precise. Olivia, why did you say it's not precise? Why do you say it's not precise? Why do you say it's not precise? So yeah, like for example, state of the art facilities. I don't like to be seeing that thing again. And the reason is not far-fetched. The reason is not far-fetched because most universities in the United States have state-of-the-art facilities. So if you are saying that that's the reason we are choosing that university, there are hundreds of universities that have state-of-the-art facilities. So you must pick something unique about that particular university. Then someone was saying something about microbiology does not align. No, not really. Seems not correlated. No, not really, Emeka. So sometimes here in the United States, people who do research in microbiology might be in biology departments. So it's different back home. It's different from what we have back home. I hope you understand what I'm saying, Emeka. What else? What else? Yeah, yeah, it's very generic. Yeah, it's very generic. Most of the responses were generic, like networking is networking. So the only part that I love was this place. He said, for instance, I was able to attend a 3 days virtual Horus webinar. I didn't staff Lococos Horus webinar series for early career scientists using information obtained from. That was the only specific thing. Yeah. All right, let me go to the next one. Yeah, problem statement should have tied with his motivation. That's true. Yeah. Problem statement. All right, so let's look at this one. I think this might be the okay. What challenges do you think you might face in the graduate program? So please let's read this one and give our responses. A story-based motivation related to the research interest of the professor will have been better. Yeah, stories drive home the point. But even without stories, you can still drive you home. But oh, there's this particular research done by this professor. I read this particular paper. I saw this particular technique being used, which I've not seen in other places. And that's why I'm choosing. Something like that. All right, in the Gary program, I might face the challenge of keeping up with new technologies in my research area, but I see it as a chance to keep learning and improving my skills. I'm committed to staying updated, seeking opportunities to learn and getting better at using. So this is very good. But the only thing here is that the person said, I'm committed to staying updated, seeking opportunities to learn. The answers are not specific. For example, if you have a problem of keeping up with new technologies in your research area, yeah, someone said I'm committed, but you're not showing proof. You have to show proof. So any words you use, you are committed, you must make sure you show proof. Thank you so much, Ola Dotson, for that. So you have to show proof about, don't just be generic. So if you're saying that you want to stay updated, so for example, if I say that, new technologies like RNA-seq, I'm not that familiar, or bioinformatics, I'm not that familiar, then I will say that, oh, what I'm currently doing is that I'm taking classes on Udemy. I'm currently taking classes on Udemy where I'm learning, bioinformatics all over. I'm learning how to code in Python. Or you must be specific. All right. Any other response? Any other response? I'm really enjoying our conversation. Yeah. Okay. Then finally, let me see. So number 7. So I think this should be the final one. Yeah, that should be the final one. I've head into our question time. Sorry, guys. What are the things wrong with this one? What are the good things? Not just wrong. You can pick out the good things. You can pick out the good things. Generic intro. Yeah, I'm excited about doing the PhD because I love research. You should not hate research now. Even if you want to say that I love research, make sure it is specific. Oh, I love vector biology research, or I love research in, mosquitoes, or insecticide resistance, something like that. Oh, putting the most important point last instead of first. I aim to contribute a lot to the field of counseling psychology by using my research to prove understanding and support for adolescents. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, but I think overall it's fair. I agree with Mary. I think overall it's fair because I think in the second sentence, was it in the second sentence? I might be uh where the person mentioned 5 million people, talking about the problem with the country of origin, that they only have one public facility for mental health for over 5 million people. Yeah, using of statistics made it more realistic here. So the person put in the person actually added figures to show the extent of the issues and why the person is interested. All right. And thank you, everyone. So I would like to acknowledge, the following sources. Some of the information I used, some of the details I used were gotten from their site. And thank you for listening. And I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. All right. So I think I will stop. Should I stop sharing? No, I can just leave it there. All right. So Comfort, do you want to help me with the questions where, because I don't know where. Comfort, are you there? Oh, okay, okay. All right, that works. All right, thank you. So let me go back. Someone asked a question. All right, so 1 second. Sorry. So in the case of challenges and adversity, will it be personal or relating to academics? It could be personal. It could be maybe financial issues while you were growing up, and what you did. Maybe you started being entrepreneurial, and and that could actually convince the interview panel that you can actually uh weather storms and challenges. So it doesn't have to be based on academics alone, except if they mention academic challenge. But if it is open-ended, it could be personal, it could be relating to your academics. But make sure that if you are sharing something personal, make sure it's something that will be useful for your graduate school journey. All right, I think that's the only question I had. That's the only question. All right, so please, can you share your social media links? All right, so someone saying, sir, what are some of the questions we can ask the admissions committee? I think I mentioned some of them. It's like, oh, what are the next steps after this interview? For example, you want to know about might want to know about the city. Okay, what's it called? What are the good, beautiful things about Cincinnati? What are the beautiful things about Davis? What are the beautiful things about New Haven? You want to ask questions, uh, then you want to ask question about the mentorship style of the particular professor, or you can also ask questions about, I'm trying to think now, you can ask question about the program itself. How long are you expected to finish? Can you finish, maybe the program said 5 years, but can you finish in 3 years? Maybe you're interested in finishing 3 years. Oh, you can ask, oh, can I finish in 3 years? Something like that. Or how do they support students? Mental health, how do they support students for conferences? How do they support students for workshops? So we're going to share our social media links. There's no problem about that. Okay, so what's your advice for audio devices? Use of earpiece, earbuds, or headphones? The one that works best. So I think most times when so the problem I have is I don't like keeping two earbuds on or earpiece on, because I don't tend to know how much volume I am giving off. I'm giving off. So I don't know how much volume I'm giving off. So make sure you use something you're comfortable with. I mean, they don't care. The most important thing is that whatever audio device you're using, is the mic good enough? The microphone, is it good enough? Can you hear very clearly? While you're speaking, is your volume control good enough? Yeah, so it doesn't matter what you use here. If asked about weaknesses, can one weakness be writing? Can the response be talking about writing and how I got rejections while trying to publish a master, then inform them out there? Oh, yeah. I love this one. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, you can talk about. Oh, okay. Yeah. Christian said he has a story to share. I'm gonna give him room to do that at some point. So if asked about weaknesses, can one, yeah. So if your weakness is writing, and you can talk about how you're able to, start improving on it, and maybe before you used to get rejections a lot, but right now, you can even talk about an impressive paper that you were able to publish, despite the fact that you had, that weakness. If asked to talk about a paper one recently read, can I talk about the paper or the professor? No. So what I would say is that tailor it. So because that way they will know that you are interested in them. So for example, if I want to read a paper for a scholarship interview, I will only read papers related to. I can read other papers, but I'll read papers related to the professors there. You want to catch their attention. You want to link up with them. You want to create that connection. So, but if you're talking about a paper that is not related to them, you might not create that connection with them. So, make sure you stick to the papers, maybe from that university or from that department. So, how can I have access to this recordable for yesterday? Everything is currently on YouTube. So we're gonna share the YouTube link at some point. All right. So, Christian, I think I'm gonna pass the mic to you at this point to share your story.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been a wonderful section today. Thank you, Comfort, also for all the lessons. So I think I just wanted to touch on interviews that you just spoke about. And I would be sharing a personal story on how I got invited for Education USA interview. And I messed myself up during the interview. And it's kind of two things. One of them is not having a good network, which I joined the interview so well. I joined with my phone, which was another issue that Dr. Jai mentioned. And that was the day my village people decided to visit Glo. So the network started going off. There was so many delays. I would say something, they wouldn't hear me on time. Then they'll say something, it takes like a lot of time for me to hear what they were saying. And that kept happening, and it became very tiring for the people that was interviewing me. And even myself. Glow was not glowing with Friday. And that continued to happen. But I think the other part, aside from the network, was the way I was answering some of the questions. And one important question they asked me, because I was able to get feedback from someone that sat on that committee. And the question was, what is my class rank? Like, I should talk about like my CGPA and my class rank. And because leaving school, even though I am a first class graduate, I was not kind of proud of my CGPA. Like, I thought I could have done better. So I was not really proud of it. So when they asked me that question, I just said, well, I mean, I have a first class and that's all. That was what I said. And they were like, oh, what's the position of your first class? And I was like, well, I don't know. Well, a lot of us had first class. That was what I just told them on that interview. And I just said that out of the fact that I was not really proud of the fact that, well, I didn't make the first class I wanted to make. And at the same time, I felt like it was not something to be proud of, like, because I didn't get what I wanted. And the feedback I actually got from the person on the committee was like, oh, aside your network being very bad, that you messed up, you were not proud of what you had. Like, we could have chosen you, but your response to that particular question showed that you were not confident in yourself. You didn't have enough self-confidence in yourself and your results. And since that time, I've learned to be confident of that result, but not be arrogant of it, like Dr. Jai mentioned. you don't have to be arrogant about it, but you have to be very confident about your results. Even if it's a 2-1, a 2-2, you already have it. There's nothing you're going to do about it now. So you have to be confident about it and still be able to talk about it. So that's the story I want to share. Now there's the other part of another story, which is still Education USA. So after that happened the first year, then I applied the second year, and this time again, one of the important thing Dr. Jahim mentioned was reading instructions. So the instruction was, you guys are going to do this exam, and this exam will close, I think at so time. But in my mind, I was like, oh well, the exam should still be open because they don't expect us to finish in that time limit. I just assumed for them that, oh, maybe that was not exactly what the person meant, and that was a mistake and that kind of thing. So I continued doing the exam, even way beyond the deadline, and I tried to submit them. None of my submission entry went in. And that happened to like almost 50% of the people at that stage. And that was what they used to just disqualify all of us to move on to the next stage of the scholarship. So reading instructions very well, make sure you have a good data and be proud of what you're talking about. Like even if it's a mistake that you've had previously in your life, if you are asked to bring it up in an interview, you should still be able to say with the level of confidence. So that's the story I wanted to share with everyone so that we can just learn from it and have a great day. Thank you very much, Dr. Jai.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Christian, for sharing your experience. So I'll just add to that. So, especially for our folks in Nigeria, who might not have unlimited data, so make sure you, uh, I mean, if before you've been using very cheap network, that goes, sometimes I know, we used to subscribe for Glue because they will give you a lot of data, at a cheap price. But for that particular day, please go for the best. Have options, because you don't want to get into that. Uh, it happened to someone too. I'm sure Christian knows this person as well. Yeah, and the reason why I knew was because my wife uh, was also part of that interview. And I noticed the person was struggling with the network. But only the grace of God helped him to be selected. So please be careful with your network. Because especially when they can't hear you, yeah, enough data. Yeah, that's the problem with Glow. Enough data with no network. Enough data with no network. So even for that day, if you have to borrow from people just to buy, uh, I don't know, most times I will go with Etisalat. I don't know what name you guys call it now. Etisalat is very good. At least for a one-off scholarship interview, just do it for that. Sometimes MTM could be sketchy depending on the area you are, but Etisalat, except if there's no Etisalat in your area. So then even that, have options. So if MTN is not working, just plug in your next modem. Yeah, just if it is hotspot you are using too, it's fine. Yeah. So all right. So I think that's all. Someone was asking a question. I will respond to that, and we're gonna close this meeting. I don't know if Comfort still want to talk. Okay, this question is very, yeah. Can one strength be resilience, or it must be hard skill? No, it could be resilience. It could be soft skill. You can talk about, yeah, I should have shared what someone shared as strength, but I didn't have time to go over that. Yeah. So your strength could be resilience. It doesn't have to be hard skill alone. Is it possible to be asked if you applied for other programs? Yeah. If they ask you, be be forthright about it. There's no big deal. So sometimes they want to know. So to know whether they will prioritize you before you choose another university. So just be sincere about it. Give your best shot to every of the interview you're going to. And if they ask you that, did you apply to other programs? Tell them that you actually apply. So that way they will know that they actually compete. Look at it from this dimension. They are competing for you with other universities. So they will, yeah, look at it from that angle. Lisa, my question about sample email yesterday, and you said it's going to be addressed today. Cold email. I think we talked about cold email already now. Maiwa, we talked about cold email yesterday. during Christian session. So you might want to go watch that again. So your social media handles, for people who are comfortable, please drop your social media handles. I mean, Rachel, Comfort, Christian, please drop your social media handles so that they can follow us. So just drop it, please. Drop. Christian, please drop your social media handle. Comfort, drop yours. It might be Twitter. This is my Twitter. This is my Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn as well, so you can follow me on LinkedIn. Then please follow our YouTube channel, Scholars Connect. Follow it on YouTube. Any other question? Any other question? Any other question? Is there any other question that I'm missing? All right, I think we'll draw the curtain at this point. Comfort, do you want to go ahead and round up for us? Okay. That's fine. Thank you. So I would like to appreciate everyone that joined us. Thank you so much for those that joined yesterday and today. Thank you so much for joining us. And so please, beyond whatever you've had today, the most important thing is for you to put those information into work. Work this information. Someone was reaching out to me today, and one of the things she said is that I hope that this yield results. Please, we want to see the result of this scholarship workshop. We've invested 5 hours, and every one of us have invested 5 hours of our time. Please make it count, and please fill our feedback form so that we can improve on our programs. So I'm going to paste it again. Please fill our feedback form. 1 second, I'm trying to get it. I'm coming. I want to share it again. Our feedback form. So please fill up our feedback form. Then what else am I missing? So I'm going to do that before. Only 2 persons have filled it, so please help us. Right, so I think I will stop streaming at this point. But before then, I want to appreciate all our speakers. Thank you so much, Rachel Inyogetuk. Thank you so much from the UMIA University. Thank you, Abosede Christian. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. Rachel, thank you for that wonderful presentation. Christian Abosede is currently studying at University of North Dakota. And Comfort, thank you so much. Comfort is currently studying at University of California, UC Davis, University of California, Davis. So please, you can connect with every one of them. Thank you so much. And should I thank myself? I don't think so. All right, so